Give me the power, I beg of you! Welcome back to the Hiding for Horrors podcast, where we review horror movies and horror movie franchises. I'm Mark.
I'm Tuan.
I'm Maria.
And today we're going to be ranking the Child's Play franchise because we're at the end. That hadn't felt like we did it for a long time. It felt like we flew through those movies.
It does.
I thought we did Wreck Fast. Like we did this even faster, and there were more movies to do. Unfortunately, Rudy is sick today, so he won't be able to join us. But he sent me his ranking list. So starting from worst to best, he has Cult of Chucky as his worst. Then he has Curse of Chucky. Then he has Child's Play 3. Then he has Seed of Chucky. Then he has the Child's Play remake. And then Bride of Chucky, Child's Play 2. And his best is the original Child's Play. So what about you, Tawan? What do you have as number 8?
For me, I have Seed of Chucky as my number 8 choice. I personally
Seed?
think, yes, Seed of Chucky. I like after we went back and watched them all now and put them in perspective. That's the one that I personally wouldn't really recommend to anyone. Like even like the remake and like Bride, Cult, and Curse like have some things going for them, but Seed of Chucky was just like all over the place and was like wilding with a lot of things, and it just like they were also going like that more comedic route, but it wasn't even paying off. Like at least when like say for like the show for instance, when they were comedic in the show, the writing was funny, like I was actually laughing. But like in Seed of Chucky, they say like Chucky gets a one liner and it is like bad one liners. They weren't even that good. And I feel like that happens with like a lot of these like slasher ones where like they make the villain um like kind of funny, because I know Freddy and like Nightmare on Elm Street also had that kind of happen
Freddy
where
was the
he kind of,
blueprint.
yeah, where he got like less funny over time. But and I feel like this is one of like those cases where it was like this, it wasn't even funny. Like why is Chucky jerking off and why are we watching it?
Right? What about you, Maria? What do you have as number 8 for your worst Child's Play movie?
Number 8 is definitely the remake of Child's Play. I hated that movie. It made no sense. I'm okay. Look, as a standalone, it's a good movie. But like after watching the other Chucky movies and then this comes out, it just falls way too short.
My number 8 is also the Child Play remake. Mostly because when I go to recommend a Child Play movie, like everything that I will like gush about or be like, you have to see because of this, all relates back to Charles Lee Ray and the OG Andy Barkley and Jennifer Tilly and all the crazy, stupid, inconsistent voodoo crap, which the remake has none of. I'm just like, I can't recommend this movie because there's everything that I want to recommend comes from the OG series. So for me, it is number 8. But Maria, what do you have as number 7?
For number 7, it is the Curse of Chucky. Um, it was very frustrating to me because I don't, because it's like we all know the doll moves. Why does he not move for like majority of the movie until like the end? And they were bringing up so much unnecessary drama to the movie that it just, I just, I didn't like it. I didn't like. um, like if the new Child's Play movie wasn't really part of the franchise, that one would have been 7 and Curse of Chucky would have been 8. But the fact that it's all, a whole thing, Curse of Chucky is 7, because it was just bad. I don't know. I really hated it. It was so frustrating to watch. They were just doing too much.
What about you, Tuan? What's your number seven?
My number seven is Child's Play 3. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I was not a big fan of Child's Play 3. And if I recall, I think I gave it a pass or when we did like the episode itself. That one to me, it because like we got rid of the original Andy and then brought in this new actor to portray Andy, it didn't really feel right from the beginning. But um and I think we talked about this during that episode, but it just like felt like this was supposed to be something else. But like the writers were like, wait, let's just put Chucky here and make this another Child's Play movie because it just felt like really like left field in a sense. Um, we were also getting more of that like funnier Chucky. Some of the jokes kind of landed here, and like certain aspects of it, but I would say mostly the new Andy and the way it's kind of like a rehash of like the same story, like oh, a kid is found with the good guy doll, Charles Lee Ray is trying to take over the body, and this time Andy is just there for like helping this kid, kind of being like Kyle in a sense, since she was like helping him in the second one, but it just wasn't like as engaging as like the first and the second one, and it felt kind of boring and a little dry. Um, so yeah, I think Child's Play 3 will be my number seven.
for me, my number seven is The Seed of Chucky. Because why, like you said, why are we watching Charles Lee Ray the doll masturbate? What was all this weird red man shit that was going on and killing off Britney Spears? See, I feel like looking back at the movie in retrospect, it's bad. Like all the things that made it funny in its time are like offensive now. Like running over Britney Spears and all of that. It just
Hmm.
reads bad in this new decade. So that's my number seven. But Tawan, what's your number six?
Wait, did Maria say number seven?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. My number seven. Oh, my number six. Sorry, is Cult of Chucky. Um, I going back into like Cult. I did like Curse. I still think, if I recall, I think I did give Curse a pass, but I did like Curse of Chucky more than Cult of Chucky. Um, just because like I did like the slow pace of it. Now, even though I do agree with Maria, they were really like going at it with like the slow burn of like Chucky not really doing anything for a while, which did feel like a lot. Like I could see if someone knew or was just seeing this as like their first Child's Play movie, they're like, oh, is it the doll? Is it gonna do this, that? But like for people who've watched it, and because of like the way that they set up the story and stuff, it was really like more so made for like fans and people who've like seen the Child's Play movies. Uh it was really slow in that regard, but I did like that they took it back to the basics of you being in the house with the killer you don't know, and things go crazy. And like the kills that were in here, they were even though they weren't like a lot, like they were pretty brutal. Especially the one with, even though like Chucky didn't fully cause the one with the priest, that was a crazy kill. Where they basically decapitated that man. That was crazy. And there were some annoying characters like the sister of um what am I forgetting, Mika. That were the sister of her, Barb, I think her name was. She was like pretty annoying. Um, and also the husband too. And so, but they both died, so that's fine. But yes, I would put it at number six. And yeah,
What about you, Maria? What's your number six?
My number six is Child's Play 3. Um, it was just kind of boring. Like it was just like I guess it's a good, follow up to the second movie because it was
Yeah.
still about Andy. It's still about Chucky trying to get to Andy, but it was kind of boring to be honest. Thinking back, because I do agree with what Tawan said, because Andy basically becomes like Kyle trying to protect the other kid. But I don't know, it just wasn't the same, really. I guess it is exciting to see Andy all grown up, but it just wasn't the same. And I'm sorry, but that girl there they were trying to put him with was so old. I can't really get over that. But yeah, that's my number six.
All right, my number six is The Curse of Chucky. Because why the fuck was the doll there? Like, yes, it was scary again. It brought back like the scary Chucky from the first two movies, but why aren't we seeing like this is what like the sixth movie in the franchise? Why the fuck aren't we seeing the doll move? It makes no sense. We know that Chucky's killing. Why aren't we seeing Chucky kill? Like, I just didn't get it. I didn't understand why they were taking so long to show Chucky kill. And his one liners suck this time around. But let's go to number five. In my number five spot, I have Child's Play 3. Only because it didn't have the OG Chucky. Like, I mean, not OG Chucky, the OG Andy. Like, not having the original Andy kind of took away. And like Maria said, that woman, like, she just seems so much older. Like, I look up the ages, they're pretty close in age. There's like a 3 to 4 year age difference. But she just came off like she was like 10 to 15 years older than him. And it just seemed weird. And I didn't like the whole army school base. Like, it
Yeah.
should just been like a regular boarding school, but no, they had to throw the army in there. I guess because they wanted that weird gun scene. But I don't know. But what about you, Maria? What's your number five?
My number five is Bride of Chucky. um, besides the only good thing about that movie was Tiffany. I think not even Chucky was great in the movie. He was barely there. I mean, I guess it was technically Tiffany's movie, right?
Yeah.
But the two main people, I don't remember what the names were, but they were also very annoying and bothered me a lot throughout the movie. Um, that it kind of bumped the movie down because because I mean the movie isn't just about Tiffany; it's about all these other people, and all these other people were just as annoying. And I would probably not watch this again unless I was, doing a Chucky marathon or something like that. But nah.
What about you, Tawan? What's your number five?
At number five, I have the remake, the 2018. It was 2018, right?
2019.
2019. The 2019 remake of Child's Play. Now, once again, I think this was another one that I personally gave a pass to on the episode we did for it, but there were some things that I did like about the movie, mostly the cast, which was like the whole reason that I even saw the movie in the first place. Love Aubrey Plaza and Brian Tyree Henry, so I love both of them, and um, I like the concept of how the Chucky doll was working in today's type of society. Now, granted, I do feel like that doll would sell terribly because it would not make it past what's that department in companies?
Is it FDA?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not FDA. It's it was like one of those departments that make sure that everything's good. But I feel like it would not make it past because kids will probably be scared as hell of that doll because it looks very. It does look weird and a little bit ugly, especially compared to the Chucky dolls that we have. The good actual good guy dolls versus the buddy dolls look way more welcoming than the buddy doll in this movie. It looks a little bit off, and also because of the way that it connects to everything in the um in houses and apartments and such. It's really just one of those things is trying to be like, oh, the technology is all connected, it's gonna like do X, Y, and Z. But I did like the fact that like the doll basically imprints on a child, but because this one like had all of its barriers like unlocked from the beginning of the movie, it went like way beyond what it was supposed to do. And really my biggest gripe with this movie was like those friends that Andy had. They were just very annoying in the movie. And
They were assholes.
yeah, and they also were assholes to like Andy and just in general, but they were like very annoying throughout the movie, and they really didn't add much. And I feel like their inclusion was to like give us that kind of scene at the end where they were like helping him out in like the store, because like everybody's like loving like Stranger Things and like it at the time, so they're like, oh, let's add these kids in here, it'll be something like that. But those kids are likable in those movies. These kids were really not. But yeah, once again, 2019 Child's Play remake, I would put in my fifth place.
What do you have in your fourth place?
My fourth place, I have Coats of Chucky.
Oh,
Um, yeah, so I actually did like Coats of Chucky, and I was surprised that I um, liked it. I do remember seeing it when it first came up on Netflix a couple years back, and I would say I like it mostly because it sets up the show really nicely, and even though there are inconsistencies everywhere at this point in this series, like I'm not even gonna like get on that at this point, but the inconsistencies are there. But for what we're getting, like the splitting of Chucky into different bodies, the actual like return of Andy in the series, we get Tiffany back, and also Tiffany's doll is in the movie. Um, a continuation of Mika's story, who is like I feel like they nerfed her in this movie compared to the first one that she was in, which was Curse. I feel like she got a bit nerfed down, like mentally wise, because she was making some kind of dumb decisions in this movie. I felt, but yeah, I would place this one in my fourth place. The kills were good, and the music was good too. They were just like I would say only another thing that I didn't like was also like just the look of the movie. It looks like it has like one of those filters over it that makes it look like really weird or like made for TV. Even though it was put like directly on Netflix, it just looked kind of off.
what about you, Maria? What's your number four?
My number four is The Seed of Chucky. um, I basically grew up watching the movie, and to be honest, I just think it's funny. I don't know what it is about the movie. It just tickles a part of my brain that I'm like, this is very entertaining. I would watch it again. Um, and I don't honestly cannot tell you what it is. I don't know if it's Tiffany, um, or if it's like,
Nostalgia.
yeah, it's just to me, it was just a movie that I grew up watching. It was funny at the time. It's still somewhat entertaining to me now. Um, I am put off about the doll, doing his thing in the bathroom. But I don't know. I guess he has needs. But yeah, that's my number four.
I always forget about Tiffany flashing him before he starts. I always forget about
Yeah,
that part.
yeah,
My number four is the Cult of Chucky, only because I feel like it's the first time that the whole series comes together. Because like after Child's Play 3, you have Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky, which feel like two two movies that are separate from those first three, and then Curse kind of like puts you like, oh, Andy is still part of this universe, and you get to Cult of Chucky, and we're seeing Andy, and we're seeing Tiffany, and we're seeing Nika, and it's just a great lead to the TV show. So for that reason, I feel like it all comes together. But I also, other than like the weird like filter look that Tawan mentioned, I find it kind of entertaining. The multiple Chucky things and the voodoo Like at this point, the voodoo doesn't make sense. It hadn't made sense since the third movie, so you have to just like
Literally.
let that shit go. So yeah, but I enjoy Cult of Chucky for it's a great bridge movie. It's the movie that bridges the entire series together and connects it to the TV series, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
But what do you have for your third spot, Tuan?
For my third spot, I actually have Bride of Chucky.
Oh,
Now, this movie, like personally, like it still is like not my favorite of the series, but just due to the fact that we get Tiffany in this movie is why it's highly rated for me. Um, the fact that we get Tiffany is like great because like from here on out, like she's been a great character. Jennifer Tilly has been great at the portrayal of Tiffany, and then also her portrayal of herself, but as Tiffany. So it's been like really like cool to see the way that they've gone about it. After all these years with that character, and how now like she has like a really big role in like the TV show and like setting things up for like the future in there. So I like the way that they're using that character that was made in the in like the fourth movie. And like now was like a little more iconic than Chucky at times. Now when people think of Chucky, they instantly think of Tiffany. But as per the movie itself, that's where like the actual like story and everything. That's where this movie like drags for me because like the main two characters are so boring and literally no one cares about what they're doing. Like they're just there so that Chucky and Tiffany can like get to this like this grave and get this amulet that also was not presented in any prior movie until this one, and they retconned it, and this is also the start of like all the retcons that we got down the line. Um but without it we wouldn't be where we are now, and that's like one of the main reasons that I do love it.
what about you, Maria? What is your what number are we on? What about you,
Three.
Maria? What's your number three?
My number three is Cult of Chucky. Um, I really liked it. I really liked the movie. Some jokes Chucky said in the movie really got me. I thought they were really funny. Um, I thought the concept of him splitting his soul or whatever was going on there, was pretty good. Despite that the voodoo changed. um, and it was a nice, um, I guess, way for the TV show. I thought Nika was pretty cool in this movie too. Um, Besides like the first one, oh, not the first one. I mean the curse, where she was just kind of very much lacking. Still don't understand why they had to show that sex scene with her and the other mental patient dude.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that already.
And it lasted so long. Like I don't understand. I don't know, but I really liked it. I really liked this movie. I thought, yeah, just I thought Chucky was just funnier in this movie. Like the whole interaction with him and the Dean guy, that was so funny to me. I also thought this movie was gory. I guess more specifically, the scene where he like shoves his arm down that one girl's throat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, huh, all right, like that's different. um, but yeah, it's my number three.
My number three is kind of it might be controversial because my number three happens to be Child's Play 88. It's a
Mm.
good movie. It's a strong movie. It's a good start to the franchise. Like it's scary. It's suspenseful. It has a lot of thriller. I love it, but I love my first two more. Speaking of that, Maria, what's in your second spot?
So my second spot is actually Child's Play 88. No, like yeah, like you're totally right. It's a good start. Um, it was just kind of like, yeah, it's a great first movie, but I do like the other movie a lot more than this one. Um, this one was just kind of, like you get the intro of everything. You get Andy when he was a kid, and you start to, learn about Chucky being Charles Lee Ray. Um, it's a good movie, like to watch.
What about you, Tuan? What's your number two?
My number two is Child's Play 2, actually. So I put it as number two because it is a perfect sequel. Like after the first one, and we like know what Chucky is by this point. We're going into this one seeing like where's Andy, where's Chucky at now because we know they killed him in the first one, and is he still going to be going after Andy? And like all those questions were like answered in the movie, and the way they went about it was really nice, and also it also keeps like the same tone as the first one. Like even though this time we know Chucky is um like a thing, and also they have like that fake Chucky doll in the house. Like we're just wondering, like, okay, when is this actually gonna get going? And Andy is gonna be like at risk again, which at this point he always will be. But the way that they set it up was really nice, and also we get the introduction to Kyle, who was a great character, who we now have back in the TV show, both played by the same actors. So that's great. Kyle was great for Andy in this movie because just like his mom in the first one, um, even though she was skeptical. Once she like saw for herself, she immediately was on Andy's side and was trying to help him any way that she could, and she was real for that because I don't know if I could have done the same.
My number two is Bride of Chucky. Despite the fact that I dislike the main characters, Jesse and Jade, I love Tiffany. Like you get to a fourth movie in a franchise, it's usually stale, it's usually insane. They're only like the only franchise that I know where the fourth horror movie was good for me, in my opinion, was Halloween. Like Halloween 4 was great. They brought in Laurie's daughter. They changed the story, and that's kind of what they did here. They brought in Tiffany. They gave us a new element. We got away from Andy. We got actual teenagers, even though they sucked ass. But like, we got fucking Tiffany. Tiffany alone like saved the movie, and for me, I think she saved the franchise because I don't think we could have kept going with just Chucky keep on his quest to possess someone and become human again. Like it would have got old really fast. But you threw in Tiffany, you threw in this mix. It's this weird Bonnie and Clyde murderous serial killer doll, and like she saved the fucking franchise and she saved the movie, in my opinion. But Tawan, what is your number one favorite Child's Play movie?
My number one will have to be the first movie, Child's Play '88. There is just something about that movie, like even now, I can still watch it and have a good time. And also, it's like one of those movies that like I love showing people who haven't seen like any of the like Chucky or Child's Play movies. Like if they tell me they haven't seen any of them, I love showing them this one because it's just like a really fun like movie to watch with people, and especially when you know what's happening but they don't know what's happening, and the way that they go about um introducing like the character Charles Lee Ray, the Chucky doll, it going to Andy, and then it being kind of like one of those things where we're wondering, oh, is it actually the doll? Is it Andy? Because like they share like the same kind of frame and stuff. The detectives are thinking it's probably Andy, and he's just like a kid going crazy. And then we actually find out no, Chucky is living, and he's been inhabited by a serial killer, and he wants Andy's soul, or he's gonna like stay in that body forever. So like the story and everything was really good. Um, and it's like it is the introduction to the franchise. Like without it, we wouldn't even be here. But it also like holds up a lot still to me. Um, I don't get tired of watching this one, and yeah, I also think that I'm forgetting his name, but the actor that does play Andy, he was a great child actor in this movie. Like he wasn't like annoying like his counterparts in the remake. They were a little annoying, but Andy like actually like gave you terror in his eyes, like when he was by himself or like the mental facility, like he's gonna kill me. Like he was doing really good, and like the actress that played his mom was great as well. Now Detective Mike, he could kind of rot because he was like boring, and he had like no personality in this movie besides like I'm cop man, I'm gonna solve the case, even though he didn't even solve the case.
Really didn't. But what about you, Maria? What movie has your number one spot?
The one that has my number one spot is Child's Play 2. Um, I don't know. I really liked the movie. I loved Kyle. I also really liked Andy in this movie. I feel like after the first time that this doll was trying to kill him, he was like, okay, I got it, you know? He was a little bit smarter in this one, especially considering the trauma that he went through. Um, I don't know. I just also thought that you see a lot more of Chucky in this one. And you kind of see more of Charles' personality come out instead of like, because instead of Chucky just being a killer doll, you see Chucky as, no, this is Charles Lee Ray trying to get to Andy because he wants to, he wants to be human. And the end scene about all that stuff that happens to Chucky, I thought was crazy. Because they're in that factory, and then like I don't know, just like that scene where they start like putting stuff into him, and you know that he's feeling everything because he's basically like like a doll with basically his organs already.
Hmm.
And just for him to keep coming back, I thought that was a good scene. I don't know, it's just a movie that really kind of keeps me interested, no matter how many times I watch it.
And for me, my number one spot is also Child's Play 2. A sequel can make, like, the second movie in the franchise can either be the make or break. And especially
Yep.
coming off how good the first one was, like there was a lot of potential for this to go bad. And the fact that the only surviving human character to come over was the kid, and this child actor has to carry another movie without like the other two people who were there with him. He did a great job. It expanded the lore. I feel like the first Child's Play introduced us to Chucky, but this one is when we were like, okay, we fucking love Chucky. We're all in. And this Child's Play 2 is like, it's the reason why Child's Play 3 doesn't work for me, because I need more Andy. Like we had more Andy in Child's Play 2. I'm just like, this fucking kid is adorable and he's kicking Chucky's ass. Like I need him to be in the next one. And I just feel like they got everything right with Child's Play 2, and it's amazing. Like if Child's Play 2 was bad, we wouldn't have like five more movies to follow, six more movies to follow. So that's it. That's my ranking. That's all of our ranking. We
That
did it, guys.
is.
We're done with the Child's Play franchise. I thought this was gonna take us way longer than it actually did.
Same,
Yeah.
but it went by really fast.
It really did. Now next week we're gonna come back to reviewing, but we're gonna take a break from a franchise. We do have our next franchise planned, but that has to wait until the end of summer, I think. In the summer, beginning of fall, we'll see. Because starting next week, we're each going to be reviewing one of our favorite horror movies. And first up is Rudy, and we're going to be reviewing Hereditary. And Maria's sisters are going to be joining us again. One of those, because they're the same team behind Midsummer. Now, given that's the same team behind Midsummer, I'm a little skeptical. But I've also like seen clips here and there, so I know it's not some weird folk horror. So I'm
Ooh.
kind of excited for this. It's not folk horror, so
I really hope you like this one.
I mean, I have to admit that Midsummer, it had its moments where I was like, with the jump scares were there, where I was like legitimately scared, like surprised. It's just overall the folk horror tone isn't for me. So like if they can keep all that suspense but lose the folkiness, I think I might enjoy it.
I personally like Hereditary more than Midsommar. Personally,
I do too. Actually, it's like I don't, just watch it. We'll talk about this.
I'm planning on watching it this weekend, so I'm excited. And then we all actually know what our favorite horror movies is, but we'll save that because just because. So thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed our Child's Play retrospective. We enjoyed doing it, so thank you guys for sticking with us. Capiche.
Say capiche.
Maria, I'm sleeping. The Haddonfield Horrors podcast is a Letters to Media production.
Should we do an intro?